about the United States, one of the biggest countries in the world. The United States has more than 300 million inhabitants. What if all of those people went to bed every night without having dinner? Without having food at all? Let's multiply this number by 3. That is 900 million. 900 million. That is how many people are undernourished all over the world. That's the awful reality. Have you ever consciously thought about this? To be honest, until recently, I have not. The only times I thought about hunger is when I skipped lunch for one day. But I have never really thought about the fact, thought about all the people in the world who experience hunger every day. Real hunger. And I bet most of you haven't either. And I get it, real hunger is a problem we don't know here. And that's why we forget to think about it. It feels like a problem that we as individuals can solve, and therefore it seems like we can't contribute to the solution of this problem. But we definitely can. A few years ago, I did voluntary work in South Africa for 5 months. Here I have experienced many beautiful things, but also horrible matters, such as hunger. It is impossible to describe how hard it was to see all the unnourished kids living there. We, as prosperous Western people, cannot imagine what it's like to live their lives. Mothers perform heavy labor every day, not to buy new shoes or to go out, but to put one bowl of rice on the table so she can feed her family of 5 children. Where some Dutch people already whine when they get peanut butter on their sandwich, for example. These children appreciate every grain of rice. It is sad, but it's also a beautiful thing to see how much the food is appreciated in countries where hunger is an issue. Did you dwell on the fact that there was food on the table last night, and this morning, and maybe that there will be food again tonight? We should have more appreciation for the fact that we are born in a prosperous country, and most of us have never experienced real hunger. And of course, there are also many people and organizations who are working on this problem and looking for solutions. But the question is this enough?
No, we have to do more. Every day there are more people that are going to bed without food. The number is only growing. We and the hospitality industry can change this. We need to do something. We need to start taking actions now. In 2015, the United Nations made an SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, Zero Hunger. This SDG is to end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture by 2030. One of the targets to achieve this SDG is, by 2030, end hunger and ensure assets to all people, in particular the poor and people in vulnerable situations, including infants, to save nutrition and sufficient food all year around. This basically means that in 8 years, anyone needs to have enough food and enough safe food to live a healthy life. Only 8 years to achieve this. How are we going to do that?
To find a solution, we must look at how serious this problem is, how long this problem has been going on, and what we are already doing about it. We are Sven and Rosa, and we believe that each individual can contribute to the solution of undernourishment by making small adjustments in their own personal lives. There are a lot of things you can do to reduce the number of undernourished people around the world and thereby contribute to the sustainable development goal.
When we talk about undernourishment, we mean that a person is not able to acquire enough food to meet the daily minimum dietary energy requirements. Undernourishment has been around for a very long time. As long as there have been people walking around this earth, there have been people without enough food. Can you imagine that? For centuries, this problem has been going on. And since a few years, we're starting taking actions? I think that should have happened a long time ago. But if we're going to take a look at the last 20 years, because let's be honest, that's what's most interesting for us right now, you can see that it was going really well. The percentages of undernourishment were going down, except for Western Asia, but that's not our main problem here. If we look at the last few years, you can see that the percentages have been going up again. And that's not what we want. According to the latest Food Insecurity Experience Scale, 9.2% of world's population, that's around 900 million people right now, were exposed to severe levels of food insecurity in 2018, with Africa having the highest level of 20% of their population being undernourished. Africa remains behind the other countries in most nutrition indicators, including access to safe and clean drinking water, which directly relates to nutrition outcomes. This was before the pandemic even started.
If we're going to look at the numbers now, we have to consider the coronavirus. This virus is a global health crisis that no one could have foreseen, but with serious consequences for everyone. Not only is the virus making more and more people very sick, it makes it almost impossible to achieve zero hunger before the year 2030. With lockdowns preventing the harvest of crops and reducing incomes to make food less available and affordable, there are new challenges arising to ending hunger, achieving food security and improved nutrition, and enduring sustainable agriculture. The only positive consequences of coronavirus on the world hunger is the fact that all the closed restaurants and hotels donate their leftovers. Food that would go to waste is now being donated to charity, which is a good thing. Since the pandemic, there have been speculations about postponing or cancelling the sustainable development goal completely. Because this goal is not achievable, we can't let this happen. We just have to take more actions to achieve it anyway.
Now that you know the problem and how serious it actually is, we're gonna look at some positive news. Because there is some positive news. We're gonna take a look at some of the solutions that already exist within the hospitality branch. Like we said earlier, food that would go to waste is now being donated to charity. This is a very good thing, but unfortunately, when restaurants open back up again, this food would not be available for these charities anymore because restaurants would use it for their guests. But there are other solutions for these restaurants. For example, if restaurants would source their products from local farmers, it would ensure that farmers in less prosperous countries would not have to sell their products to suppliers for wealthier countries. This would mean that the farmers can sell their products locally to people who actually need it. And if we support these local farmers by giving them money and making sure they have enough supplies, we can increase their production, which would make more food available for a lower price, which means that people who make less money can also buy more food. This is due to supply and demand.
I think we have all heard the commercial, 1 in 7 children does not have enough food to live a healthy and active life. Although you've probably heard this 1,000 times already, this ad promotes a very good solution. The Share the Meal app. For 80 cents, you can offer a child in another country 3 meals. There are 7 billion people on this planet. So if everyone donates 80 cents once in a while, the whole population can be fed. The Share the Meal app is available worldwide, so everyone can do their part. Here in the Netherlands, we also have the Restauranto app. With this app, you can eat at certain restaurants and also help a person in need through a meal. It's very easy to use. When you want to order a meal, you can open the Restauranto app and search for a restaurant that you want to order from. Then you order your meal, and without any cost, you have donated a meal to someone in need. For now, it's only takeout because of the pandemic, of course. But when the restaurants open their doors again, you can go out. You can go out to these restaurants and order with the Restauranto app.
There are also charities that hire chefs or collaborate with restaurants to do something similar. Van de Vlamma is one of these charities. Van de Vlamma is a charity that helps women, teen moms, and children in need in Venezuela. They recently had an event called Empanadas for Me, Empanadas for You. A chef here in the Netherlands was selling empanadas online for takeout or to be delivered because of the pandemic. And for every portion that he sold, a portion was made by a chef in Venezuela for a child that doesn't have enough food to live a healthy life. And because it was all online, you had to fill out your email address. And because they had your email address, they could send you a video of a child with a huge smile on his face saying thank you with a full board of empanadas in his hand.
All these options are great, but they don't have a lot of impact if no one is willing to make a change. There are so many people who can make a small change in their personal life, and all those changes together can have such a huge impact. We bet that a lot of you have never heard of apps like Share the Meal and Restauranto, and that you didn't know that a lot of charities host events like Empanada for me, Empanada for you, and from Van de Vlamma. But now that you know, about them, it is time to use them. Although you may think your small contribution has no impact, but it does. Start by not only thinking about your own problems, think about how 900 million others are trying to stay alive, and try to support one of these above options from time to time.
We believe that if more restaurants would collaborate with apps like the Restauranto app, get their products from local farmers, and donate the things that would otherwise go to waste, this problem can be a lot smaller. We're not saying it would magically help the problem disappear, but it would help a lot. We also encourage you who are watching this TED Talk to see if you can find a charity that donates to those local farmers in need in countries where a lot of people are undernourished. We also like to encourage you to download the Share the Meal app and help a person in need. And if you are here in the Netherlands, download the Restauranto app. It could really help, and it costs you nothing to help someone in need. And if you do want to order takeout, check if there's a local charity hosting an event to help those in need. Or check if there's an app available like the Restauranto app in your country. It will help a lot if you do at least one of these things. Again, it will not solve the problem completely, because the problem is too big right now to be solved by these little solutions. But these little solutions are something we can do right now in this pandemic. So we'd like to encourage you to help the people who need it.
Even though hunger may seem like a problem that does not play out in our lives, reflect on the fact that it does on the other side of the world, and help by donating or taking other actions. What may seem like a very small donation from you may be a life-saving meal for another.